Good evening, Americans. This is your favorite alien on the evening of a Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. And here we are a day before the opening of Major League Baseball, your favorite pastime. But you are looking at 3 children and 3 more adults in a school in Nashville that got killed. And it's to do with extremism. And extremism happens because of two things. You guys think that you are entitled to extremism, but you're not. Extremism is not new, and it's not your invention. It's your ancestors' invention. And to give you an example of extremism that you guys love to forget, just like you extremist Republicans and extremist Democrats, back in the 1600s, you had extremists on both sides of the British government. You had the Crown, which was extremist, and Parliament, i.e., Congress in the United States, which was extremist. Okay? Here in the United States, you got all three of your branches of government extremists. The Supreme Court did it by repealing Roe versus Wade. That's extreme. You got an extreme Supreme Court now, extremist. You got a White House with Joseph Biden, which has extremists in it, leftists. And the Republican Party is extreme rightists. And let you not forget the lessons of history. Let me give you one for you extremists. There was an extreme faction that developed after Henry VIII told Catherine of Aragon to go stick it, and the Pope too, in 1527. Okay. Catherine had done nothing wrong. He just divorced her because he wanted hanky-panky. Yeah, okay. And she was Catholic, remember? Forced marriage in those days. Yeah. Catherine of Aragon, daughter of Ferdinand and Isabella, and her daughter, Bloody Mary, became Queen of England in 1553 and married Philip II. You guys forget about that, don't you, Americans? Well, all that created a heck of a lot of problems because you had a so-called people that started after the death of Henry VIII in 1547, and by 1599 it was a pretty good group, and they were called Puritans. Oh yeah. The Anglican Church was a joke and still is a joke because it's the Catholic Church minus a few minor things like the Pope. But you still got archbishops. You don't have cardinals, but you got archbishops. In fact, an Archbishop of Canterbury runs the church, and the head of the church is Prince Charles III with Camilla Parker Bowles. Oh boy, you see what I mean about disaster? And here's the biggest disaster of all for you Americans and British. The British, and like you Americans who want to avoid and change everything. You're changing your names of your Confederate forts and Confederate people and taking all their statues down because the African Americans don't like them. Really? Look at the British. They have the biggest shame in their thing. And there's 2 statues, one in his hometown and one in the heart of the House of Commons. of none other than Oliver Cromwell. Yo-ho! Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector. Remember that? Yeah, Lord Protector. Now, Oliver Cromwell was born in 1599, and he was an extremist, to say the least, as a Puritan. He could make Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene look like amateurs. And what happened? Well, before he became Lord Protector, and he only served, in the House of Commons for a little bit. He wasn't exactly big guy when he served there, but he got himself appointed Lord Protector later. But he gave Charles I a hard time. And the Civil War developed in 1545, or 1645, pardon me. And by 1649, Charles I lost his head. Oh, poor guy. Yeah. But in between 1645 and 1649, Parliament had put laws in there. Because remember, the British the Commonwealth was known as, at that time, England. Okay? And Scotland and Ireland. So that was the Commonwealth. Because there was no such thing as an act of union yet. That would happen in 1707. But, and here you go, Americans, listen to this closely, okay? Especially you supposedly devout Christians. And this is why devout Christians have a bad reputation. In 1645, the Parliament set a law that outlawed Christmas. And it was a severe law. If you were caught celebrating Christmas on Christmas Day, December 25th, you had to pay, depending on how the celebration was, if you had food for other people coming into your house, you had to pay 3 shillings for every person that came in. And that was expensive. 3 shillings at the time is equivalent to $40 today. So, 40 American dollars for, say, and you know how you guys invite people to your Christmas dinners. Yeah. And they had severe penalties that went up online. A few people lost their heads over celebrating Christmas because they got chopped up. Now, the Parliament had approved that every Sunday was the Lord's Day. But Christmas and Easter, because you didn't have a day, it wasn't, remember, Christianity is a religion with no set dates for either one of them. And the person that tells me otherwise knows that they're lying when they said there's a set date. There is not. It goes by the seasons, and that's why the calendar was a little askew there for a while until Pope Gregory came along and created the Gregorian calendar. Yo! Are you hearing me, Americans? Okay. And not only did the British do this, and when the time Cromwell came to power in 1649, remember, Parliament had already done this in 1645, and he made it even worse, banning Christmas altogether in 1652 by the law that he put on there. If you don't do it, check it out. It's out there. Okay? And from 1652 to 1660, if you celebrated Christmas, you could have gotten yourself paying shillings for bringing people in with food, or if the worst got worse, you would lose your head. Because Christmas was a poopy thing. We put it there on AD 378, and we don't even celebrate Christ's Mass as a birthday. That was also illegal, by the way. Yoo-hoo! Are you listening to me? That was illegal. When Charles II came in 1660, well, he changed the law because Christmas was still being celebrated underground, just like your prohibition of alcohol in the United States in the 1920s. Yes. Had speakeasies and everything else. Well, in 1649 or 1645 to 1660, people were celebrating Christmas on the sly side. And not only was that happening, in your state of Massachusetts, or in the British colony of Massachusetts Bay Colony, yoo-hoo, they banned Christmas here too. And that ban went for 21 years, up until 1681, that they banned it. And the severe pains. There was people that were burned at the, not burned at the stake, but hung over that here in the Massachusetts colony. Okay? Yeah. It wasn't until 1681 that they actually took it away. And the Puritans' power ceased to exist after the Salem witch trial of 1692-93. Yes. So you see, Americans, extremism is in your blood because you've had it. Can you imagine the people in those days who wanted to celebrate Christmas and some of them lost their lives over some extreme version of what you thought was supposed to be the right thing to do? And that's what you're celebrating today with your kids getting shot in school, your old people getting shot in the hospital or in church, or if you're Jewish or that, you get shot too because you're Jewish, that because you condone enclaves and you condone people, oh well, we want it to be separate. There is no such thing as separate. Until you realize that, Americans, you're going to condone yourself to repeating the mistakes of your forefathers. Oh, and by the way, the British government never did took down the two statues of Oliver Cromwell. In 1901, when the statue was done in the House of Commons, not one, not even the Prime Minister or anybody in power, came to celebrate the statue. A lot of people did, because you still got extremists left that view Cromwell as one of their guys. And it's getting bad in Britain because those extremists are back on power. You see what I mean? But you notice the British government never did tear them down, even though the Lord Protector is something they don't want to talk about. This is your favorite alien saying, this is why you become extinct as a human race and as an American nation. And the only guys you have to blame is yourselves. Good day.